Alrighty, I think this should be the right stream. Apologies for that. Technical difficulties. Give me a quick mic check. Smash the likes while we wait. How's it going, my man? Blag, how's it going, buddy? Happy Monday. Good to see you. Alrighty, are we ready to begin? Let's turn down the music a tad bit. Let's smash some likes. Exponent. Sure, let's do it. If we do have time for, because today I'm going to be covering like 3 altcoins, right? And the big daddy himself as well, Bitcoin. So are we good to begin? If you guys haven't hit the like yet, make sure to do so. Just setting up a few tabs so I can be a tad bit organized today. Just a tad bit, not too organized, because those students are the most boring ones, at least for me. At least for me. At least for me. Let's go. Cardano. I was looking at Cardano in the morning too. Sorry, Sunday morning. Today I haven't actually taken a deep look into Cardano, but I did quickly look at it. So let's do this. Set up some Cardano tabs. Ethereum. Alrighty. Okay, we got a good base to start with. We'll jump right into it for now. Today, let's do a back and forth. Like, I'd really like to take some questions based on things you guys are confused about, because it is going to be a confusing period of the market, because it's execution time, right? And that's where people get it wrong. So, is the music fine, guys? Alrighty, good morning, and a happy Monday to all of you. Welcome back to another Mango live stream. Let me just go ahead and get the comments on the chat box in my view, so that way I can see what you guys are saying. And pop out chat. There we go. Change the UI. Put that there. Put that over here. Okay, the music is a tad bit low. Okay, that's fine, because some people don't like it. Some people love it. Better to be on the safer side. Oh man, I'm having the worst headache. What the hell? Okay, I just got back from the gym, and I was so exhausted that I had to take a nap. I had to take like a 15-minute nap before doing this live stream. So I set it up for, well, I'm a bit late, but I was like, all right, I gotta do a live stream, so I'm gonna pre-commit to it. I set up the live stream, and I took a quick nap, and now I'm here for you guys. So let's get this started. We're gonna be here on the dashboard while I take some requests. And today I don't want to do like all coin requests in regards to, hey, let's check out XYZ coin. We can do that if you guys don't have any questions on, actual execution related stuff, because I think that's what's really important here. I think that's where everyone's going wrong. The mindset required going into this phase is where people are really going to get wrong. Okay, chasing pumps, over allocating to the wrong coins, under allocating to the wrong coins, etc. Right? A lot of times you might just be in the perfect position, but you may feel like you need to do something. Okay, there are times where you're not in position at all, and you just are in analysis paralysis mode, because you have so many options when you're not in position at all, right? Where you end up doing nothing. And then there's the other side of the spectrum where you're already in a good position and you just should do nothing, and you end up doing too much. So if you guys are in those situations, let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about that, because that's where a lot of people get it wrong in these markets. Ajay says he overtraded last night. We've all made those mistakes, man. We've all made those mistakes. Wick's wife is in here too. How's it going? We got Wick and Wick's wife. Quisha's in here too. The beautiful, the gorgeous, the pattern queen. Okay, guys, right here. Let's begin with the dashboard. app.mangoresearch.co. You guys can follow along. There's a free version as well as the premium version, and you can get access to the premium version by simply inviting people to the dashboard. So this is for all of you guys, right? Now, you guys can see that Ethereum is on the top of the dashboard. Rightfully so, right? If you guys have been following along now for the past few weeks, especially in our Discord, I've been mentioning Ethereum over and over again. And I don't mention coins all that often, right? It just started showing strength and consistent strength. Stan asked me on Discord, hey Sean, what coins are you looking at, right? And I named one coin, just one coin. I said I have begun accumulating Ethereum on the ETH Bitcoin pairing against the 3-day dynamic. Now again, you guys can use whatever indicator, trend indicator that you guys prefer. Like for example, the Ichimoku is great too. It requires a little bit more work and analysis, etc. But for a beginner, I think starting the Ichimoku is the way to go, right? But again, for those of you who don't have the time, very busy with your real life, family life, the dynamic can make things easy, and that's what it's been doing for me for the altcoins. All I do, guys, is look for something like this. When a trend is being respected consistently, right? And as much as we all were enjoying hating on Ethereum, you gotta call a spade a spade. And when I kept holding this, I was looking for it to come a tad bit lower. And you guys know the story for that. I did a dedicated Ethereum video recently, a daily video. Watch that. It's a comprehensive video. It wasn't coming down. And when you find, and listen to this, guys, listen to these kind of things, because you can apply to all your coins, whether it be Cardano, XRP, etc. If you're looking for a pullback and it's not coming down there, right, that's a sign of strength. Both ways, eh? Like if, for example, we ever go through a downtrend and you're looking for that bounce that's not coming and just going, it keeps going lower, you gotta just sell. Just rip the bandage off. Don't wait for that bounce, right? In the bear market, right? You guys are gonna, please note these things down. Please note these things down. It works the same way to the upside as well. You see a bounce, you're looking for it to come down lower here. Like, why is this not freaking giving up? Come on, Ethereum, just break already. And then wasn't breaking, right? Over here, I had the hope, did not break, but had to call a spade and then start accumulating, right? It paid off. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for like, I mean, I've been able to conquer some demons. Every cycle I'm going to conquer one demon or the other. This cycle I was able to conquer the demon of not getting what I want and going ham because I wasn't getting what I wanted, right? SPX 6900 too. I got shook out of that trade. It rallied so hard. I still got in after. So yeah, you know, always try to be in an uncomfortable situation. I went off on a huge tangent, but it's very, very, very important. Lean towards discomfort. Lean towards discomfort. If you're feeling uncomfortable, there's likely edge over there. Because if you are willing to deal with that discomfort, there are amateurs who are not willing to deal with that discomfort, and you might be able to get a good position before they do. So Ethereum, we got the call on the 2-day dashboard right over here 13 days ago. I'm highlighting the 2-day over here because if you look at all the reversal signs on the dashboard for the trends, you'll see that the 2-day gave you the max gains in the shortest amount of time, right? That's something to note. We might want to keep an eye on the 2-day time frame moving forward on Ethereum, right? So you got 48% in 13 days as opposed to the 4-day. Yeah, you did get 49%, but you were in the trade for like 60 days, right? And that kind of opportunity cost can get out. It paid off, but there's more time to get shook out psychologically and emotionally, right? You're like, oh my God, this is not moving at all, but Bitcoin is, SPX 6900 is, etc. You might miss out on the trade. So keep an eye on the 2-day moving forward. ETH USD looking great. ETH Bitcoin looking great as well. Long across all the time frames, but the weekly. And this is really, really important for those of you who are in my position over here, who are looking to play this on the Bitcoin pairing, right? So I am primarily playing this on the Bitcoin pairing. Any allocation I put on the USD is more so like, you know, it's going to be added on top of my trade as a bonus, because what I'm really, really looking to do is outperform Bitcoin with my ETH allocation, so I can collect more Bitcoin, right? So ETH is looking fantastic, and that is going to be the crux of today's analysis, because everything today is going to be benched against ETH, not Bitcoin, against ETH, right? So when you talk about Cardano, when you talk about XRP, when you talk about Bitcoin as well, what is ETH doing, or what is this coin doing against ETH, right? So what's really important to know or understand is that we are at a juncture right now where everyone is getting bullish on ETH, while we should probably be taking a step back on ETH, right? I'm not saying sell. Okay, I'm not saying sell, but you shouldn't be getting too gung-ho on over-allocating over here, okay? The trade might be, the last opportunity might be on Bitcoin right now, okay? This might be that last leg on Bitcoin, the easy leg. I'm not saying Bitcoin's gonna stop here, okay? So we're at 120, we take another leg up, get up to 150. I'm not saying 135, 150, doesn't matter. I'm not saying we stop there. What I'm trying to say is this is the easiest last leg of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been a stupidly easy cycle, this entire cycle. Right? We're going to do a quick summary on Bitcoin, but this right here, okay, ETH BTC, not long on the weekly just yet, is very, very important, okay? Support, if you guys are using the dashboard, remember we have the new feature rolled out where you have your high time frame support and resistance. Support at 0.0241, resistance at 0.0345. Let's go to ETH BTC. Let's mark out 0.0345. That would be somewhere around here. So we're not too far away, right? So what I would do if I were you guys is I would like look at the dashboard to get the number, right? So it's saying 0.0345ish, right? So somewhere around here, right? And then you look at your TA, right? And be like, okay, I see a clear horizontal right over there. Mark that out, right? And then you can just go ahead and mark out a zone. This is a quick way to allow the dashboard to be your ally and make your life easy. So now we have resistance zone right over there that we can look for Ethereum to stop at. So there's not that much edge on the ETH Bitcoin pairing, right? So I wouldn't lean into this over here. But if you do get the high low, I'd be excited. Now, what does that high low line up with? Well, let's go ahead and use the ETH. I'll do this. Control S. I'll duplicate this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Bitcoin dominance, okay? And I'm going to show you guys this chart. All right, I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide this. Okay. Now, this is coming down, and this is going to get a lot of people's emotions like, oh my god, Bitcoin dominance finally coming down. But you got to understand that you've missed a huge part of the move. Okay, this is a huge move across all coins, mostly Ethereum, XRP, Cardano to a certain extent, just a tad bit, not there yet. But while this may come down, right? Like it could come down in a straight line. What is the probability of that? What is the probability of that? I wouldn't say it's all that high. Okay, this is likely gonna move in a way that it taps everyone's pain point and emotions before you see a wick, at the very least, like this, right? Or it may break down, bounce, and you see a candle, a green candle, so an entire month of Bitcoin outperformance again before the actual drawdown, right? So the trend, guys, even with this, is still up, is what I'm trying to say. So even with everything happening, with Ethereum rallying, with XRP rallying, Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend because it hasn't confirmed a lower high, lower low yet. I know. You guys are like, Sean, what the hell are you waiting for? I'm not waiting for anything, okay? I've been allocating to ETH already. You guys know that, right? And as ETH continues to run, ETH Bitcoin continues to run, if it runs, what's going to happen is my ETH portion is going to become larger compared to my Bitcoin allocation, and it's going to self-correct itself, right? Because we were playing the trend to begin with. If it doesn't though, considering that the dashboard is telling you that ETH Bitcoin is still not long in the weekly, if it doesn't and we actually see a rejection against this zone over here based on the dashboard as well as a quick TA, then we're going to see Bitcoin dominance have that wick or that lower high, all right? Bitcoin dominance either going to have a green candle into this resistance zone and then break down later, or this is just ends up being a high low, guys. How stupid are you going to feel if you go berserk on allocating your Bitcoin? This is for those of you who are allocating Bitcoin, by the way. If you allocate all your Bitcoin over here, and this just ends up being another high or low, you're going to just feel stupid, right? You're just going to feel stupid. So I am just here to check your emotions, okay? Now, this may happen. It may come straight down. And you guys are going to hate me, okay? For saying, for giving you guys caution, for telling you guys, hey guys, just wait one more month, please, for the sake of your family, right? Just wait one more month, because you don't want to be messing around with your Bitcoin that I have raised my targets to very recently to $750,000 over the next 8 years, right? And I'm not that kind of guy who gives high targets very, very loosely. I put a lot of thought into it. I'm very conservative about giving targets to Mango. You guys know, especially high targets. I give them I don't do it often. So if you have Bitcoin, what I'm trying to say is be very selective. Be patient. If a trade goes, let it go, okay? Because that $750,000 to $1 million Bitcoin, remember I did 750 is just the center point. It could be 500,000, it could be 1 million. So $250,000, give or take. But it's still a big win. 100,000 to 500,000 is huge. 100,000 to 1 million is huge. 100,000 to 750 on average, 750K. Don't mess with your Bitcoin. Be careful with it, okay? So, with that, we can now begin the stream. Does the dynamic have confluence with the dashboard, the 2-day? The way I would like to. So I would look for the cases where you see the dashboard and the dynamic having confluence. Not what you'd want, right? Is the dashboard, the dynamic, and the Ichimoku all having confluence, which is why on the dashboard you also have the Ichimoku flags over here, right? Now, if you are not adept with the Ichimoku, the flags over here really, really help, because the algorithm that we have implemented on the dashboard over here essentially looks for what Mango looks for the perfect Ichimoku conditions, right? So you can see over here on ETH, the 4-hour flipped bullish, Mango bullish 6 days ago, right? The 12-hour flipped Mango bullish 13 days ago. So these flags here are important. You guys should, and I know Mango just sucks at marketing. You know, we're not we made these tools for ourselves, right? As the core community, we enjoy trading the Ichimoku, we are trend traders, and we like using support and resistance on the high time frames. So we made these tools for ourselves, right, as the years have gone by, but we don't do the best job in like marketing all of it. Like we forgot to even announce this feature for God's sake. But you guys should keep an eye on it. You guys should use this, because I wish I had all of this when I had begun my journey. So yeah, the Ichimoku is what you'd want to confluence with your trend. You'd also want blue volatility, right? Which is why, like around a week or two ago, when I was when I was showing Ethereum, like long across all the time frames and blue volatility, it was like a no-brainer trade, right? It was Bitcoin had that same profile at around $104,000, right? So now, red volatility can persist in a bull market, but would I be gung-ho on just going adding? I don't know, man. Look at those returns here. Like, you have 47% returns on the 12-hour time frame. Maybe you'd want to wait for that to reset, right? Maybe you'd want to wait for that to reset. So let's do a quick recap on Bitcoin so everyone's on the same page. Any questions before I begin? Stupid question. Will I just keep my Bitcoin for future and sell XRP and ADA? Are you talking about for the cycle? Okay, Kusha asked the same question. Yeah, Kusha's question is on point. If you do not sell your Bitcoin allocation that you have preset for 8 years to 10 years from now, right? So what do I mean by that? Right, people are too black and white with their investing and their trading, etc. Understand that you can work in percents, right? So if you have allocated a certain amount of Bitcoin, let's say you have this much Bitcoin, right? 0% to 100%, right? The way I want you guys to think about it is that a certain allocation should always be left over for your long term, okay? For like your 8 to 10 year, right? You layer it, right? Each brick is for years out, right? So this brick, you should be thinking is for 6 to 8 years out, right? Or 8 to 10 years out, depending on how far into the future you want to look or what your time horizon is, right? So this could be like 10 to 15%. It could be 20%. You have to make that decision based on your financial situation. And then this brick could be for the next halving. And then this brick could be for this cycle, right? So you could say, hey, you know what? For this cycle, I am for sure selling this much of my Bitcoin, okay? And I'm going to hold on to this much for the next cycle. And for the cycle after that, I'm going to hold on to at least this much. So now, this is where things get really, really interesting, right? So you're kind of drawing a limit on how much you're going to sell, right? You'll never get too greedy on taking too much profits. And what this does is that it ensures that right now you're already thinking 10 years out. And you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I can't sell my Bitcoin because I only have this much Bitcoin. If you only have this much, you don't have room to take profits, right? You don't, because you barely have your 8 to 10 year Bitcoin. And now you're going short on the long term. You don't want to do that. You don't want to bet against Bitcoin on the long term, right? This is your insurance for 10 years from now, right? If you start adding and you reach this stage, maybe you want to go short your mid allocation, right? So I'll consider this midterm, right? But understand that you will be going short allocation on a 4-year mark, right? On a 4-year time horizon, you are short your allocation. So you better get that call right because you're going to need to buy it back at the bottom of the cycle, right? So you can work around that. Trend trading, Ichimoku, dynamic, we have our tools to work around that. You can go short midterm allocation. Going short on your 8 to 10 year mark, I do not recommend because we are looking at a target around 750 to 1 million. What are you betting on? You are betting on Bitcoin going down to like 50,000 maximum, 40,000 maybe, 30,000. Let's go. You're really bearish. So yeah, you're giving up $70,000 downside, but on the upside, you're losing $750,000, right? If you're wrong. So I wouldn't bet against Bitcoin on the 8 to 10 year mark. Over here, you could. Now here, this is like what? We're talking like the next 6 to 15 months max, right? Here, you can sell this based on your needs in the next 6 to 18 months. You can say, I have a mortgage, I have a new house, I got to redo my kitchen, you know, I want a brand new bathroom, XYZ. So this, don't mess with, Mama D. Okay, where was I before that question? Now, if you don't care about your Cardano and your XRP long term, you have no fundamental belief in the coin, like just don't know about the fundamentals, then by all means, you know, that's how I'm gonna play it, because I don't know anything about XRP, I don't know anything about Cardano, right? So I don't want to have a long-term allocation. There are certain coins that I may have a long-term allocation on, but far and few. I don't have a total market cap target for the short term, man. I think we get to 10 trillion eventually. How that plays out, I don't know. Is it just a few coins that, like, you know, I honestly think it's irrelevant. I don't see how it's actionable, man, Fahad. I don't see how it's actionable. If you just use Mango principles and you follow coins that are strong, you end up making a lot of money regardless, right? But I think when people overplay Bitcoin dominance, they overplay targets for 4 trillion, what ends up happening is they think that everything will make money when that doesn't need to be the case at all. It could be a few coins that make all the money. It could be new coins that come in and capture all of the money. And you need to be focusing on what is strong. It's the easiest way to make sure that you actually catch the win, right? Okay, let's do a quick recap on Bitcoin. So last year, around July 2024, we had identified this cup and handle, and we drew out two targets. We drew out this red box as our first target, and we drew out the second red box as our second target, provided certain conditions are met. And one of those conditions is that we actually break past the red box. I find it really, really beautiful that if you zoom in, we drew out this red box, guys, a year ago. And look at how well Bitcoin is respecting this red box to the T. Every weekly candle since we smashed up against the red box has been respecting it perfectly, right? We rejected and closed right underneath it. The next week, we shot up above it, but the market rejected and closed underneath it. And now we're finding resistance right there. This is why I love TA. When you see these and look at the bottom of the red box too, by the way, guys. Look at this. Over here and over here. This is blowing my mind because I drew this out a year ago. So yeah, that target got hit of around $119,000 to $118,000, and then we had a 2.5-year target, because if you guys have been following Mango since all the way down here, you guys remember our cascading pattern trade. Let me just pull it up. It's here on Twitter. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, make sure you do. But right, we had the cascading pattern trade, right, where our initial target was 24K. Then we had a $42,000 target as our target 2, and then we had the ultimate target, which was 120,000, which was the cycle target, right? Yeah, and things were getting activated as price. Like think about it. Over here, price was 16,933. Okay, people thought I was insane when I was calling for all-time high before the halving. People thought I was insane. I was drawing out $40,000 back then, and people thought I was crazy. Okay, so when I drew out 120K, you can imagine the hate I got. I even posted this thing, guys, just start buying. This is a really important tweet that I will read out to you guys because it's going to become relevant now on the flip side, right? The early stages of a rising market is usually the most difficult. You're always going to feel that nagging doubt of whether or not this is all just a sucker's rally. And that nagging doubt is precisely the price you are paying for the asymmetric upside. Now, this is going to work towards the downside too when the signs are right. Okay, you're going to have a warrior. So, are you selling too early? Are you selling too early? But you got to fight that, because that asymmetry is going to work towards the downside too. We're not there yet, but just make sure you guys are paying attention. Make sure to hit the subscribe. Don't miss Mango videos when the time is right, because there's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of new YouTubers coming out. There's going to be YouTubers who don't do videos during the bear market that will be coming in only for the fun, right? They weren't here during the sucky periods, but they'll come in for the fun, right? And you guys will be getting distracted. Don't get distracted. Make sure you're following only Mango this time. I'm not in the business of round tripping, says Wick. I gotta sell my XRP for the next XRP, but I don't know if I could ever do that with Bitcoin though. Yeah. I'm with you on that, man. Like Bitcoin, in a way, it's money, right? You got to follow what I talked about in regards to, where was it? Where did I draw all of that out? I think I deleted it. But have your minimum allocation that you never touch. Okay, and you guys got to sit down and think about it. You guys got to sit down and really put in work and figure out what your minimum allocation is. Okay, have your targets in mind. $500,000 to 1 million within the next 8 years, and then ask yourself, what's the minimum I want, so that way I don't feel like shit. Okay, you don't want to be thinking back to 2025, 2024, and say, damn, I could have bought even at $100,000 and still 10x my money. And it was so easy. It was Bitcoin. You don't be thinking that. If it doesn't reach there, right, and you have a small allocation, like, at least it got to like 300, 400, not bad, right? But if you can 10x a small amount and you didn't do it, when it's such an easy trade, in my opinion, at this juncture, all I'm saying is don't sell everything. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Take your profits by all means, but don't sell everything. Because we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, we got to be humble. That's all. I'm not trying to call what's going to happen in the future. All I'm trying to call is that we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and we don't want to get too cute with things that we actually believe in. 35 minutes and nothing but Cardano. You can unsubscribe and leave, man. Like, just don't give me that crap here. Jesus Christ. We're going to go another 35 minutes without any Cardano. Okay, because we have to talk about Bitcoin, we got to talk about ETH, and Jesus Christ, man. Freaking entitled. Anyways, I don't know. Let's I hate those kind of comments. I hate. Bye. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Bitcoin. Before we talk about Cardano, XRP, and ETH, I want to talk about what we discussed in regards to the Bitcoin moves that people underestimate every summer. Right? Everyone has this idea that we can just sell in May and go away, I think is the phrase. But I showed like a week or so ago that making sure that you are positioned in the halving, like in the summer right after the halving, right? So basically, let's say you have a halving and then you mark out the summer right after that. It has always been very, very profitable to make sure that you're positioned in either Bitcoin or the altcoins that you believe in. Okay. It has been a fool's game to do the opposite, because what ends up happening is that you come back in around September, August, whatever, and then you end up buying the tops and you get dumped on again. You start hating crypto, and then again by October, markets are rallying. So if you want to actually capitalize on the volatility of the market cycle, being present for the summer right after the halving has been extremely profitable, right? And again, it happened in 2013. It happened over here, right? So the halving was here, and then the summer after, we rallied. The halving was over here. The summer after, we rallied. Again, in the most recent cycle, the halving was here, 2020, and then the summer after, we rallied. Albeit not all that much, because Bitcoin went from around 27,000 to around 60,000. But if you guys remember, Sol, etc., went from around, I believe, $30 to $200, right? Or I think it was $12, if I remember correct. 13. I'm forgetting now. But it was a huge move. A lot of coins went crazy. The entire, like, AVAX, Luna, Sol, it all happened during this period. So if you guys are believers in all coins, right, it doesn't even need to be Bitcoin that you guys are in. But you guys need to be paying attention on the summer after the halving, right? Like I said, hey Sean, you are not mad. You are a mad genius. There's a difference. Yeah, man. Like the thing is, if you don't have the build-up as to why you need to be careful with your allocations, you're just not going to be careful, right? Next halving is somewhere around 2028, somewhere in 2028. Yeah, this is exactly 3 Diglets, exactly. So you may have missed the live stream that I did a couple of weeks ago, but we did this live. This drawing over here was done then. All of these drawings. So I just pulled it up to give you guys a summary. So we did that, and then right after that I did the Ethereum daily video. We talked about ETH BTC, etc., etc. Again, I'm trading this on ETH Bitcoin, but look at what ETH has done ever since then. I want you guys to think about how Ethereum, okay, if you look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, right, guys, this is insane. If you look at where ETH is sitting at the moment, it's sitting at 0.03214, right? 0.03214. We can go back to the bear market now and mark out 0.03214 to somewhere around here, okay, where we rallied from, 0.022. Okay, cool. So ETH took around 75 days of bleed, okay? So 2.5 months of just bleeding down. The pain it inflicted on everyone was crazy, right? But then it undid all of that in 24 days. In 24 days, it undid all of that. That's signature crypto. Signature crypto. It makes you suffer to the downside. And when you finally give up, right, it'll give you maybe one chance, and then undo all of that pain. And I found the only way to dodge this is not by bag holding and waiting for that moment, because guys, that's freaking painful. The best way to do it is to make sure that you're out when the time is right. Just exit. Okay, always think about the pain the market is about to inflict on you. Always think about it, because it will do it. Okay, and all it takes is that one coin that will completely wreck you emotionally, that will make sure that you never enter crypto again, and you're going to look back 5 to 10 years from now and be like, God, why did I miss out on all of this? It's because of this pain that you have to sit through, and you start hating crypto, right? So when we marked out ETH's resistance level over here, saying that it's likely time to take profits, and then we got bearish on ETH over here at 0.06-ish, right? It was clear, sell all your ETH for Bitcoin. Glad we did so, right? Because we avoided all of this pain. And now, we're chilling. It's mango. It's stress-free. Going through all of this because we're going to have to deal with the same thing again this market when the bear market does hit. Now, ETH is rallying. Bitcoin is rallying, okay? We're seeing all of this strength. The question is, if Bitcoin dominance is actually coming down, should we be allocating towards altcoins in general? Should we be allocating towards Cardano? Should we be allocating towards Sol? What do you guys think? Expenses catching up on the live stream. Appreciate the reminder on how to handle taking profits on various BTC buckets, 8 to 10 years, next cycle, current cycle. Yeah. And for everyone, it could be different, right? It depends on where you are with your financial, like for some people, it could be the complete opposite, They could do it the other way around, where, where's my drawing tool? Where's my pen? They could say, you know what, I'm only taking 10% this cycle, and I'm going to hold on to 90% of my Bitcoin for 10 years from now. If you think about it, right, who would be in a situation like this? People who are actually under-allocated to Bitcoin compared to the rest of their portfolio, right? If you have massive wealth in your house, in your in the bond market, just holding fixed income, or you just have a massive cash position and you don't have all that much Bitcoin, then you're going to be like, okay, I don't have that much Bitcoin to begin with, so 90% of my Bitcoin I'm going to be holding for the long term, because I can't sell too much because I'm going to be under allocated. Because in a way, it ends up being the same thing, because you're still working with the buckets, because you have this allocation that has been predetermined, and you're realizing this allocation is 90% of your entire allocation, right? So if you're over allocated to the rest of the market, that's a simple way to break it down too, right? If you're over allocated to the rest of TradFi and under allocated to Bitcoin, then you don't want to be selling all that much this cycle. You want to still sell some to take advantage of the volatility that this cycle is most definitely going to have. And for those of you thinking that we're not going to be seeing any volatility this cycle because market is maturing, I think you're going to be in for a surprise. Sugar Crypto says SPY hit all-time highs. I just sent out shorts. You can take a look at SPY too. Okay, so let's talk about Cardano, okay? Because on Sunday morning, Cardano was showing strength. I was like, oh man, I hope Necessity watches this when he does get the time, because we're having a conversation on our Seed private chat too, in regards to should we be allocating towards Cardano or not. And by the way, for those of you who are looking for Cardano targets, etc., I think you should likely watch Krisha's video. I'm not going to be talking about Cardano. Cardano targets is, for me, like high. I'm just going to be looking towards all-time highs, right? Just higher than all-time highs. That's it. I don't care how high it goes after that. It could go to 9, it could go to 12, it could go to 15, it could stop at 6. I honestly don't care. You guys know how I like to play my trends. I'll be watching for this structure, right? And I'll likely be getting out somewhere around here. This could be $9. It could be $19. I don't know. I don't care, right? But in terms of allocating, that's where I care, right? So let's talk about that. Okay. Here's the thing. I was in a situation where I was like, okay, should I allocate to Cardano, or should I just add to my ETH position, or should I just add to my Bitcoin position, or should I just add to my SPX 6900 position, right? This is the sort of thing that really does end up mattering when you're actually executing in these market phases, because if you make the wrong decisions, it messes up things for the rest of the months to come. And everyone is going to come to a different answer based on their situation, right? Now, I'm personally in a situation where I've made several good moves already, and the temptation to play that momentum is going to be extremely strong. But I know from past mistakes is when I get lots of things right, I end up feeling invincible and end up making very, very, very disastrous mistakes that end up giving up a lot of profits, right? Fortunately, I don't make those mistakes anymore where I give up all my profits, but I give up unnecessary profits. So I am in a position where I was thinking to myself, okay, I want to really think about whether I should be allocating towards Cardano, because now I will not only have to not allocate towards Bitcoin, not allocate towards ETH, but now I'll have a new position that I do have to manage every morning. I'm going to have to look at the chart, ask myself, okay, things are not going as well as I expected. I'm going to have to deal with the pain of exiting the position now. Should I be exiting? Blah, blah, blah. All of those things, right? So I could just keep my life simple and add to existing winning trades. Or I could keep my life even simpler and hold on to my, depends on what you guys are doing, right? Are you holding on to USD, or are you going to be holding on to Bitcoin? Me personally, I would be allocating Bitcoin, right? And because I'm allocating Bitcoin, I am ultra careful as to whether or not I allocate towards an altcoin or not. So the way I'm thinking, right, is, Sean, keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple. You are playing strength, and for the entire cycle, you have been following the simple Mango rule, 90% to 95% into Bitcoin and 5% to 10% into altcoins, okay? And this ends up being self-correcting because when altcoins do end up rallying, this 10% turns into 15%, turns into 20%, and this 90% ends up going down to 80% to 85%. Brilliant. If altcoins won't persist, then the altcoin market has actually activated, and then you don't have to do all that much, because if they persist, right, and it's just not a quick move, this turns to 80%, altcoins turn into 20%, and what's our rule? Our rule is that when altcoins actually do start dominating, we will go down to 75% Bitcoin maximum, and 25% alts, right? Well, we don't have that much work to do, right? When you catch a move like Ethereum and it makes such a big move, or SPX 6900, suddenly you just have to make a quick adjustment to get down to 75%. That's why trend trading is self-correcting, guys, right? Both ways. It's self-correcting when you want to take profits on the upside. It's self-correcting in bear markets too. Because if you are trend trading, you should never be in a move that's doing this, right? So you end up maybe not catching the top, maybe not catching the bottom, but you avoid all the pain. Similarly over here, this is what we're looking to do, right? Okay, so why do I need to overcomplicate things? All I'm going to say is, okay, this is the eventual goal, going 9% to 80% to 75%. And as long as I'm buying strength, this is going to happen on its own. It's just going to end up happening. I just have to follow the process, right? We were 9% Bitcoin. We had 10% alts. Alts have now started doing really well. These alts have now increased in size. ETH is now one of the leading performers. So ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, right, guys? Everyone can agree. ETH is outperforming Bitcoin. So we are now in a situation where was my drawing? Yeah, right here. Where this side of our allocation, the right side of the allocation, is doing really well. So I want to bench every coin, because we're not in that phase yet, by the way. We're not in this phase yet, right? Where we are saying alts are dominating, so I can buy any alt. Once we get here, right, we can be a lot more gung-ho. We're not there yet. We still have to be very choosy. Should I buy Cardano? Should I buy XRP, right? Should I buy AVAX? I can't even think of coins top of my head, because we are just buying strength. Whatever is strong is at the front of my thought process. So ETH is doing really well. Now I want to see, is Cardano outperforming ETH? Is Cardano outperforming Bitcoin, right? So I want to look at both those charts and come up with a conclusion as to whether or not this is convincing enough for me to allocate risk, right? Because if you look at Cardano USD, this looks really good because you have a W-like formation that has broken up, right? So we can actually do a quick measured move. This is likely going to get up to our red box. Perfect. It's going to get up to this $1.18 zone that I drew out years ago that Cardano needs to break past. That's all it's going to do, right? That's all it's going to do. So do I want to allocate Bitcoin for that move? Maybe, maybe not. Let's go look at the Cardano Bitcoin pairing. This is not it. It's not it. This is it. Okay, cool. So this is what I have identified on the Cardano Bitcoin pairing. We had a similar structure. I think maybe put it over here. Doesn't matter, right? Last cycle, around 2019, 2020, where we had a very painful downtrend, long consolidation, rallied. This is against Bitcoin, guys. Rallied, got everyone super excited, and then for months came back down again. And then we had the massive run, right? So the bull case for Cardano is that we are doing something similar. Had a massive, painful bear market, rallied, got everyone excited. You guys remember how everyone got super excited here, right? You can't blame them. You can't blame anyone for getting excited on a candle this strong, massive green candle. But then months of bear market again. And now, is it time? Is it time for this? Well, if you are saying that it's time, you are hunting a higher low here. We haven't activated an uptrend just yet on Cardano Bitcoin. So the way I like to play it is, if we haven't really activated a higher low yet, I want to buy as close to support as possible, right? So I want to buy as close to 0.0481 as possible. I already missed that. I could have hunted that at the beginning of the month, but I missed that. So if I would be buying this weekend, I'd be buying somewhere around here, right? So I already missed like a 45% rally against Bitcoin, 30%. So it doesn't fit my rules personally, because unless the trend is already activated, I cannot buy into that kind of pump. I want to buy as close to support as possible. So necessity, if you're watching, this is what we were talking about yesterday. Okay. It's not there yet against the Bitcoin pairing. Now, is it there yet against the Ethereum pairing? So the Bitcoin pairing is not telling me that it's not there. The Bitcoin pairing is telling me that I missed it when it was there, and I'm not going to just buy over here because it'd be a bad trade. I either have to be patient or for it to come back down, or wait for the trend to actually activate. And I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm going to either wait for it to come back down closer to the higher low, or I'm going to wait for, let's go ahead and delete all these drawings. Okay. Because this is a round formation, right? That might be forming. But until it breaks past here, which is a big move on its own, I can't convincingly say that this has actually started an uptrend. We need to break past this zone over here. Failing that, what I could do is wait for something like this, hunt for a lower high, higher low structure, right? So essentially what I'm looking for is this. This will take us somewhere into, I don't think it's going to take that long. What may end up happening, I'm drawing it out really stretched, but what may end up happening is something like this, right? So it may take us into October maybe, right? So this will rally a tad bit more against Bitcoin and then come back down. This is provided we actually see a high low. It could just go up and close over here. So my plan personally is I buy here when I activate the trend confirmation, or I buy here because I'm hunting for a high low and we're close to support. Get it? Do you guys see what I'm trying to do over here? So then I get to play this. And then again, I get to play it to the top of the range, take profits, right? That'd be a good move. Right? Okay, so against Bitcoin, I can't buy because it's not fitting my rules. What about against Ethereum? We can now look at that. Okay, cool. What do you guys think? If I showed you guys this chart, would you guys buy over here? There's no right answer, so everyone can answer. Just don't be shy. Yes or no? This is Cardano against Ethereum. Prod says nope. Fahad says nope. Exactly. You guys are trend traders now. You guys are seeing it automatically now because we've looked at so many charts together. You guys know when strength is in your face. Jonathan Candy says, what are your thoughts on Sui? Sui is actually one of the better looking charts on both USD and Bitcoin. It's really like symmetric. I like it. We should take a look at Sui if you have some time. So the thing about this is that we are looking at the weekly here, and we know that ETH has been performing extremely well. And Cardano, while this is definitely a bear flag, right? We have to like give it props in the fact that for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, it's kind of gone sideways against ETH, which means that Cardano is kind of keeping up against ETH. Yeah, this is not looking the best, and this is kind of telling me that ETH may have one strong leg to come, at least against Cardano, or we could see a dump across the market where Cardano dumps way harder, right? This provides this bear flag actually breaks down. I'll show you why I want you guys to think about it this way. Because if you look at the Cardano ETH chart on the Ichimoku, on the 3-day time frame specifically, you guys are going to see that it's holding this 200 moving average very tightly, very well, right? Now suddenly, we have this Tenkin to Kijun C-span trade that may activate, where we have a chance to play Cardano outperforming Ethereum, provided we see a full body candle close above the Tenkin. Because then we have this trade, this outperformance of Cardano against Ethereum to the tune of around 36%. It's holding the 200 moving average. Now, if you are a reversion trader and you want to just play it like, okay, you know what, I'm going to buy this as a support and resistance play, you could actually play this over here, okay? This is Cardano against ETH, remember. You'd be buying the 200 moving average on the 3-day time frame with your ETH. With your ETH. This is not a USD trade, guys. This is you saying, okay, I will be allocating ETH to my Cardano, and then if I am wrong, if Cardano loses the 200 moving average over here on the 3-day time frame, I'm going to buy back my ETH. I would much prefer to wait for the Tenkin to clear. Now, if you're not allocating ETH and you'll be allocating USD, then you got to say to yourself, okay, I could allocate towards ETH and I should be allocating towards ETH because ETH is a stronger trade, but I'm going to be allocating to Cardano provided Cardano holds this level against ETH, right? Because as soon as Cardano loses level, I should be selling my Cardano that I bought with USD and buying back ETH. It's a bit convoluted, but that's how you need to think about it, because it's not the good trade to hold on to Cardano if it loses the 200 moving average against ETH. You are saying that you need Cardano to keep up with ETH on this 200 moving average, right? Because that's the equilibrium point where Cardano and ETH are at equilibrium. That's why you're kind of seeing Cardano rally over here, because this chart on the 3-day is saying that, okay, this price is the equilibrium point where Cardano needs to hold, because if it loses this, we're seeing it come all the way back down here before you even get bullish again. So what this is telling me is that as good as the USD chart is looking on Cardano, I just can't buy it. Oh, Krisha's pulling the plug on me, so I guess we got to wrap up really quickly now. I got to talk about XRP as well. There's not much to talk about XRP. XRP is just bullish AF. I think Krisha's done a daily video, but we could wrap up. So yeah, the conclusion is I just cannot buy Cardano, not until it clears the 10K over here, and then we have the C-span trade at the very least to look forward to. What else? Yeah, we talked about Bitcoin. SPX 6900. Let's take a look at this really quickly. This has been one of our strongest trades, and it's doing fantastic. Over here, what we're looking at is SPX 6900 against Bitcoin. This is really exciting me because it's been trapped in this range for a very long time now, almost a year, right? Yeah, a year now. So if it does break past here, I have a target all the way up to 0.0000635 Satoshi. That's a good move. And it looks like it is breaking. I have a zone marked out over here, but officially kind has already broken. It has taken out the highs as well now. So it's looking really good. Again, I've been talking about this coin for a while. I posted on Twitter. I got hate for it. But look at this. People don't like to make money. People rather worship their favorite coin than make money. It's fine to be dedicated to your coin, but I don't think it's appropriate to hate on other people for wanting to make money on other coins. Okay, this SPX 6900 against USD, it's almost at $2 now. It did hit $2 earlier today, so that's looking good. XRP is just so effing bullish, guys. Like I really think this has been so strong even through the entire bear phase. I just have no idea what the XRP people are down about. Like, guys, look at what other coins had to go through. Like, where's the ADA USD? Look at what they've had to go through. Now ADA has recovered, yes, but they've had to go through a lot of pain. This is like massive down What is that? 60% down. XRP on the other hand was just pretty much going sideways, and now look at that. It's so good, so good, so good. So we can even look at the dashboard, and just last week, right? It was so hard to recommend, or like around 2 weeks ago, it was hard to recommend XRP on the lower time frames because this was red across all the time frames. And I said, guys, XRP should be played on the bi-weekly because the bi-weekly dynamic, this is where the dynamic really comes into play, right? Because even if the dashboard is telling you that, hey, things are not looking all that good on the lower time frames, the bi-weekly dynamic just kept holding. And there were only 2 coins that were holding their bi-weekly dynamic. It was XRP and Bitcoin. That's it, right? So if XRP was holding its levels that the king of the market was holding onto, you had to respect it, right? And this high over here was the key high that needed to be taken out. And I'm pretty sure if we look at the lower time frames, as soon as we took out that high, it probably, let's go look. It probably was taking off somewhere around there. Yeah, look at how respected that high, guys. So you can see, oh man, that's beautiful. Yeah. Who knew TA would work? Took out the high here, immediate move, and then we respected that high. This white horizontal, by the way, is the high I just marked out. Held the high. Huge moves. Good job, XRP. Good job. Beautiful. XLM. All right, let's do XLM. We'll do XLM and then RV quickly. XLM USDT. Fantastic. Long across all time frames. Just flipped long on the weekly. Supports at 0.26 and resistance at 0.55. Price currently sitting at 0.485. So you have resistance right overhead at around 55 cents. So keep an eye for that. Support at 268. We're far away from that. So far away from support, very close to resistance. Let's go take a look at the chart though. XLM USDT. The weekly. Resistance at 0.55, right? And yeah, somewhere around here. Dashboard is saying 55 though, so let's mark that out. Boom, and then I'll mark out this level. Let's look at the bi-weekly. Bi-weekly is looking... This thing did not give you much of a chance here unless you had lower time frame opportunity right over here at 0.31. So there's not that much edge over here, guys, if you're playing XRP, unless you wait for a pullback down to somewhere around 0.44. Then you could probably play for something like this. If it clears here, it's actually going to go much, much higher, right? Let's get the monthly. Let's clear out everything for now. This has a massive structure on the monthly that could take this way, way higher. Let me remove all of my fibs. So if the monthly can clear around 55, closing the monthly in like around 9 to 10 days, right? 10 days. I think this goes way higher. So yeah, I wouldn't buy here personally, but if it closes over the monthly at around 55, I'd be very interested. So XLM, yeah, I've already did. Okay, cool. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao. Oh, right. I should let you guys know that we are having a giveaway tomorrow. Let me pull it up on a different tab. Over here, Bitunix. $2,000 giveaway. I should have said in the beginning of the stream, but for those of you who are here, you know now. All you have to do is go to themangoway.com/Bitunix. You'll find the link in the description down below, and deposit at least $50 to qualify for the $2,000 giveaway. It says 1,000 over here, but we're doing 2,000, so take advantage of it while you can. I'll see you guys in that Discord. Ciao.